In this particular video, we are going to be talking all about protein, but not just protein. We're going to actually be talking about how to integrate these recommendations into your day-to-day life for overall health and strength and fitness gains. This video is going to help you break free of insecurity so that you can make some seriously environmentally friendly gains and have you feeling confident, healthy, fit, and strong, cruelty-free. We've got a lot to go over today, so be sure to whip out your pen and paper and take notes so you can really follow along and get the most out of this video. The truth is that trying to gain muscle eating mostly plant-based could be pretty frustrating sometimes for a lot of people. A lot of common meals just don't seem to have a decent source of plant-based protein. For example, a bowl of pasta, maybe a hummus and avocado sandwich, or a bowl of cereal. While these are all common meals, they don't necessarily have a substantial amount of protein that's going to be in alignment with making strength gains. It's no wonder why vegans get asked where do they get their protein all of the time. So if you've ever felt like it's impossible to gain muscle without eating meat, understandable. I see where you're coming from with that. Even so, let's not let those beliefs hold us back from becoming strong, confident, badass, environmentally friendly individuals. There are actually a lot of plant-based foods out there that are not only delicious, but they're pretty high in protein as well. Pretty comparable to the amount of protein in animal products. Yeah, delicious and a good source of protein and good for the environment. That is why in this video, we're going to get super practical, break it down to make for dang sure you are going to get your protein needs met, all right? Are you ready to dive in? Before we dive into the recommendations, I just want to throw it out there, some symptoms that you might be experiencing that you're not getting enough protein. Because I used to be that girl. I was like, excuse me, of course I'm getting enough protein, like stop asking me this. Meanwhile, I actually wasn't super satisfied after meals. I actually was not seeing that much progress or as much progress with my strength and my muscle gains as I could be making if I was actually being more intentional about eating more protein. And I was having trouble sleeping at night, not feeling super focused. Also, yeah, just in general, just having irritability. Somebody who maybe gets hangry or angry or just isn't feeling really calm and stable headspace wise. It's possible that maybe you're not taking in enough protein. Sure, there's a lot that could be going on there, and of course eating highly processed foods like processed sugars and caffeine spikes and crashes can cause this as well. However, it's something to keep in mind when it comes to protein intake that I think as a plant-based individual, keep track of your intake so that you can be for dang sure you're set up for success. First of all, as a dietitian, when it comes to making any recommendations, I've got to say, everybody is different, okay? And with making a protein recommendation, it's not going to be a specific number. You've got to have this amount of protein. It is a range, okay? First, I'm going to be talking about how to calculate the range of protein in grams that you are going to need to eat on the day-to-day to actually see significant progress with a plant-based diet, alongside making sure that you are doing heavy compound weightlifting and following the fitness plan or some kind of fitness plan as well, okay? Just incorporating more protein into our diet does not make it so that muscles automatically appear. It does really take tearing of the muscles and then recovery. So Katie, how do I calculate how much protein I need on a plant-based diet? Let's go over it. First of all, it varies from person to person, from athlete to athlete, depending on your age, what you're going through, what your goals are. Here I have a chart of different types of people and the range of protein that I would recommend. Be sure to calculate your weight in kilograms because these recommendations are in kilograms, and to do that, you take your weight in pounds and divide it by 2.2, and that's going to give you your weight in kilograms. As you can see, the highest number that I would recommend for the amount of protein that you might take in as somebody who's really looking to improve strength gains and gain muscle, that's going to be 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's going to be the highest end of the range. So thinking about that, it is possible to take in too much protein as well. We don't want to be taking in an excess of protein. Protein is not our body's go-to source for energy, and it's a little bit difficult for our bodies to process. Our bodies need to remove a nitrogenous base, and then that gets converted into ammonia. Basically, it can cause a pretty acidic and not very happy environment in the body if we're really overdoing it on the protein. So I do recommend we for sure don't exceed our body weight in grams and the amount of protein that we're eating, okay? Based on this chart, calculate your weight in kilograms and figure out what range works for you. And let's not guesstimate with this. I do think it's important just to start off. Of course, down the road, I do recommend intuitive eating and really tuning into what is it that your body's feeling. But before we do that, especially with a plant-based diet, I think it's important to log what we're eating. And I do have a professional chronometer account where I can see on my end what my clients are eating, which is really, really great. So I can hold them accountable, make recommendations, and I invite you to do that, whether it be MyFitnessPal, Lose It, or Chronometer. These are great tools to track what nutrients we're taking in and to make sure we are getting in a decent amount of protein with a plant-based diet. Are we getting in enough calories overall? It's going to be pretty impossible to see any kind of progress, to see any kind of strength gains if we're significantly not taking in enough calories. So there are 3 macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And it's important to get in the amount of each of those macronutrients that we need to support our goals and to support our health. Fats are really important for hormone balance and brain health and heart health, the good essential fatty acids. And carbohydrates are our body's go-to source for energy. So they're all super, super important. Thinking about it, all whole foods do contain amino acids, and amino acids are the building blocks to protein. People like to compartmentalize these 3 macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and they think that, oh, bananas are just carbohydrates and almonds are just fat. When in reality, in both of those foods, there is some protein, there is some amino acids, okay? So making sure we're getting enough calories, because the calories do add up, and the proteins and amino acids from those calories are going to help a lot. So this is very important, making sure we are getting in enough calories. Have you ever heard that plant-based proteins are incomplete proteins and therefore they are not going to be able to allow any kind of strength gain? It is true. There are essential amino acids versus non-essential amino acids, and it is important to take in a variety of amino acids, and this is easily accomplished throughout the day eating a variety of foods. So honestly, this, I don't even touch upon it. I don't even worry about it. Unless you're literally just eating corn. Yeah, just eating corn, you're going to be missing some essential amino acids there. However, if you're eating corn and rice and beans and protein powder and lentil pasta and all of the incredible plant-based foods, you don't need to worry about combining your amino acids correctly at every meal. Not at all. Our bodies do make up for the different amino acids throughout the day, throughout the week, and you're gonna be fine, okay? Eating plenty of colors, plenty of greens, not something you need to worry about. In fact, I want to say that this incompleteness of plant-based proteins is actually beneficial for long-term health. Did you know that high biologic value protein, like protein in meat and in eggs, has actually been shown to increase our IGF-1 activation, which is actually linked to cancer and cancer growth. So whenever we're looking to stimulate growth, like growth of our muscles, it's also a potential for stimulating growth of things like cancer, which we don't want. What's really interesting is that plant-based sources of protein have been shown to not stimulate insulin-like growth factor 1 activation as much as animal-based sources of protein. And this is due to the incompleteness of it. Instead of getting a solid hit of growth like from animal protein, plant-based proteins seem to be a lot more gentle. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritties and I can go off, I'm such a nerd about this stuff, but bottom line, I highly recommend plant-based proteins over animal-based proteins just for our immune function and just to reduce any kind of cancer risk, reduce any kind of injury or overload to the kidneys with an acid load. All right, so I'll leave it at that. For sure, we don't need complete proteins. Okay. What about on rest days, Katie? On rest days, do I still need to eat this much protein? Once I was intentional about, yes, even on rest days, getting in enough protein, that I was actually able to see so much more gains, because a lot of these gains that we make are actually during times of recovery. It's when we're sleeping, it's when we're having a rest day. I don't know if you've ever worked out and then you didn't feel sore until a day or two after the workout. And that's why it is important to not only be intentional about taking in enough protein post-workout, but also day after, on the rest day, and having this be a sustained thing that you are holding yourself accountable for, okay? Or having me hold you accountable as well. I'd love to help you out with that. And last point I want to make that kind of circles back to the first point of everybody is different. Should everybody be eating a high amount of protein? No, I recommend these different protein ranges based on you as an individual. How active are you? What are your goals? Are you a frail individual who is really having trouble getting in protein and you're looking to gain muscle? That individual is definitely going to need a lot more protein than the middle-aged person who does not move their body at all and who is just going from the couch to the car to the desk, back to the car, back to the couch. That person is definitely not going to need that much protein, okay? So making sure that we are aware of our activity level, what our goals are, and figuring out, calculating for ourselves based on our unique bodies and what our goals are, seeing what is our protein need, okay? So no, not everybody needs a high protein intake. In general, with a plant-based diet without taking in any protein supplements, the average individual looking for just health without making significant strength gains is gonna be fine. Just eating rice, beans, greens, fruits, vegetables. These foods have plenty of amino acids, plenty of protein, as long as they are meeting their caloric intake needs. So not to worry, not to fret. The hemp seeds, the chia seeds, the whole foods, fantastic. And if you are looking to make significant strength gains, yeah, taking in a little bit more protein, taking in a little bit more calories might help. It might help. Meeting these needs is super easy too. Like, I want to say these examples that I mentioned before of the pasta and the sandwich, instead of using regular pasta, try a chickpea pasta and maybe adding some ground up TVP, textured vegetable protein, or tempeh into the pasta sauce. Also, in your hummus and avocado sandwich, maybe try adding some barbecue tempeh, or I like to add in boiled lentil noodles in my sandwiches, as well as in that hummus, take a plain pea protein powder and stir it into your hummus, and then just use that. It honestly tastes the same. There's lots of little tweaks, little things that you can do to increase the protein in your meals. Okay, so let's review what you learned today. First of all, protein needs range from person to person based on your goals. Secondly, caloric intake is important as well. The body does not want to use protein as a source of energy. It wants to use it for enzymatic processes, for recovery, not for energy. Protein does not need to be complete or combined to be complete at every meal. Just eat a variety of different plant foods and track your progress. And two more things, still be intentional about taking in the amount of protein you need even on rest days. And lastly, should everybody be eating a super high protein diet? No, okay? Eat the amount that is in alignment with your goals and your life. That was a lot of information, so be sure to let me know if any questions come up. Today, you learned such powerful information. This information will for sure benefit you long term so that you can be a role model. Maybe cancer runs in your family. This is going to significantly decrease your risk of that down the road. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.